Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to change the world one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out, The Wellness Universe Guide to Complete Self-Care, 25 Tools for Goddesses. This book, I'm telling you, this is a juicy one, y'all. Welcome, authors. Thanks for being here. I'm glad y'all are here today. Rosemary Levesque is the owner and founder of Second Nature Healing, where she awakens the power within you to heal yourself. Stacy Wharton is a social worker who provides mental health support in a healthcare setting and promotes health, wellness, and empowerment via social media. As a certified master life coach with a PhD in holistic life coaching and a DD in spiritual counseling, David Macleod shares his wisdom, insights, personal lessons, and expertise in countless ways that help people all over the world to become true masters of their lives. And Tina Plantius is a spiritual life coach and yoga guide working with clients to teach them how to bring more joy into their life and be more confident. I have all the badasses here in my Zoom room today. You all are amazing. Okay, before we get started, let me say a huge thank you to Anna Pereira, the founder of the Wellness Universe and the lead author for the entire book series that we've been working on. Anna, we would not be here without your love, support, and guidance. Thank you so much for getting this group of amazing author experts together. This has really been an incredible project all along with all of the books, but the Goddess book, everyone got so excited about the Goddess book. I know why now. So Rosemary, you're going to start this party off today. Okay. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Thank you, Laura. My chapter is number 16, Beyond Words, Feel Instantly Empowered Through Sound. So I am a certified vibrational sound master teacher and working with pure tone frequencies for the last bunch of years. It has just been a delight working with pure sound frequencies in tuning forks, for example, and I brought a couple of examples, that these are tools anybody can have in their home. And the reason why I like working with sound is because sound manifests into physical form. And so when we're growing up and we're hearing the words that are coming to us from authority figures, teachers and parents and counselors and so forth, we embody that sound. We embody music. We embody the high vibrations and the low vibrations. All sound becomes physical, manifests into physical form. And so that's what my chapter is about. It's let's go beyond the words to the sound frequencies. Saying your name in a relaxed tone, for example, Rosemary, is really different than Rosemary, right? And so that's just the real simple concept behind the chapter. I hope everybody reads the chapter in its entirety to learn a little bit more about that.
Okay, now you're making me think of all of my first grade teachers who said my name out loud in class and like what that did to me, Rosemary. Oh my goodness.
You embodied all of that. Yes.
I get it, actually. And you made me start to think about my kids and the ways that we, go around the house and talk to each other and the moods that we're in and the voice that we use. It's a big deal.
It is. It really is. And it's not just that. It's also what's on television. What's the concert that you went to? What choices in music are you listening to? As a person who started out with ballet training, for example, I was embodying the sounds of Bach and Tchaikovsky, and that felt really good. And I still feel it. People see that in me when I'm in a yoga class. They say, "Hey, did you take ballet?" Well, yeah, it shows up. I've embodied that.
I guess I may have embodied Van Halen. I'm just saying. And this could be why I am the way I am today. I'm going to have to do a whole journaling on this, I think, Rosemary. I love it. And I love that you brought those to show us. Would you hold them up again and tell me what the difference is between the two that you have in your hands? Are they both the same type of tool?
No, they are not. So this one here is considered an energy tuner. And when it is activated against something hard, you might not be able to hear that.
Yeah, we can.
The vibration goes out, so it's easily heard everywhere. But this one is considered a weighted tuner. It's called a body tuner or osteophonic. It vibrates bone. So when this is activated, you don't hear the sound going out. It comes back down the stem here, and so you can actually put it on your body and embody sound.
Nice. Thank you.
Frequencies for healing. Yes.
Thanks for explaining that. I had seen people use them and I didn't know what the difference was. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Stacy, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Yes, of course. My chapter is number 4, Reframing Thoughts, How to Break Free of Unhelpful Beliefs and Foster Self-Love. So I am a social worker. That is my practice. And because I'm a social worker, I tend to work with people who usually are not living their best life. So usually there's a lot of challenges, whether it be mental health, any kind of challenge that they might be going through. And what I noticed a lot of the time was that we weren't always able to work on the situation. There wasn't always opportunity to change those things. Some things we just don't have control over in that sense. And it became helping people to work on the things that they can work through. And a big part of that is, people's reactions and perceptions of things, and thinking habits and thoughts are a big part of our life. It shapes essentially how we feel and what we do and how we live. So it was really important for me to give a tool that would be helpful in that sense, but also contextualizing, socially as women and goddesses, there are things that we go through that are gendered. And it's important to kind of break those things down and deconstruct them and put them back where they belong, essentially. Like outside influences that tell us how we should be and what we should be. And for all the people struggling, whether it's self-image, self-love, it's just really channeling the power of our thoughts and our being to break free of those things that are holding us back.
Whoa, don't get me started on this topic. I swear this is a good one. I mean, it's a good one because everyone at some level is incorporating this into their practice. I know all of you are incorporating belief, mindset, the way that you walk around the world and what you're thinking. But I think sometimes we don't realize how profound this is to make a shift, right? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Essentially, I find that validation is a very helpful tool. And validation is something that we often seek in other people. So it's really empowering people to learn how to do that for themselves by reframing some of the things that they're thinking, challenging those things and saying, I can do this for myself. I can reframe this in a way that's going to serve me better, that's going to help me live according to the way that I want to live. So it's really essentially like taking a look at the things that are harmful to us that we're saying to ourselves, those messages, and considering other ways that we can look at them. Is there another way I can look at this that would serve me better, that would be better for my health? And it's just those small little steps that eventually help us tackle some of those more profound beliefs with time.
Yes, it's my favorite writing prompt ever. What else is possible here? Yeah. That can change everything. I love that, Stacy. Thank you. Okay, David, the God among goddesses, tell us about your chapter.
Okay, I will. But before I go there, I just wanted to explain, obviously, I'm a male, and people who are watching this might wonder what I'm doing, participating in a collaboration on 25 Tools for Goddesses. Well, I'm going to give you a little answer to that. When Anna first came out with this idea for the Wellness Universe Guide to Complete Self-Care, I said, I'm in all the way. I want to be part of every book. Well, then book 4 came out and she came out with this title. I said, something's not quite fitting here. And she said, look, she said, I know you can write. You don't have to write specifically for women. You can come up with a tool that I'm sure women can use and men can use also. So she encouraged me to come up with something. And that's really why I'm here. I thought, I do have some good learning that I have accumulated over the years. And one of the areas that I have found most interesting in the last, I'd say 20 years or so, maybe not quite that many, but getting close to 20 years now, has been the concept of psychic shadow. And I've done a lot of study on this. I've done a lot of personal growth around this area. And I thought, I wonder, maybe I'll share a little bit about what it was like for me to go into the deepest, darkest depths of my shadow in order to uncover my true nature and start peeling away some of the muck and the grit and the dirt that's been piling up over the years. And in the process, discovering my own innate divinity. So that's really what my chapter is about. It's chapter 17, and it's called Shadow Spotting, a tool for soul illumination and liberation. And that's really what I talk about. I talk about probably the deepest, darkest personal growth work I've ever done and what I got out of that, and bringing a more gentle tool, if you like, for other people to use, that they can do some of this work for themselves without having to go through the same level of depth that I went through. That's really what it's all about.
I appreciated your ability to share the scene that you did. And I had been in similar scenes, and when I was reading yours, I thought, oh, good. Somebody else is going to step up and share what that's like. You were in a group setting. It was very vulnerable. Do you mind talking about that for a minute?
Sure. I had been leading up to this for about 4 or 5 years, I think, dabbling, as you say, in personal growth, starting in around 1996, 97, in that time frame. And nothing quite seemed to be working. But then I met a therapist who encouraged me to start doing more intense men's work. And so I ended up joining an organization called the Mankind Project. And the workshop that I was kind of briefly talking about there was called the New Warrior Training Adventure. And it's pretty intense. Basically, when I went there, there were, I think, 35 other men who were in the same boat as I was. We were all basically recruits, if you like, into this system. And I remember from the moment I got there, I was just buzzing with excitement. I thought, this is something wonderful is going to happen here. And I didn't know what it was. It was complete mystery to me. But I went through the process with all these other men and saw some things that just blew me wide open. Literally wide open. And watching other people, other men in particular, being that vulnerable was just a completely uplifting and eye-opening experience. I don't want to go into too much detail because, obviously there's confidentiality stuff that I want to honor. It's okay for me to share my own experience, but I'm just being very careful about how I describe other people and what they did.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Well, thank you for sharing that story. You have to be a warrior to be vulnerable, to be willing to be blown wide open and see what's possible from there. Y'all hear me say that a lot, right? What else is possible? It's like, I feel like these books, you all are really waking up the world to what's possible for healing. Mm-hmm. And y'all are going first. You're amazing. You said, I'll do that. I'll try that. And you're trailblazing that path. which that is, I think, the warrior's path. So it's probably good that that program had the word warrior in it, right?
Well, yeah, and I think you know about warrior energy too, because you certainly embody that.
Yeah, so a lot of that going around here, especially with this writing. So, okay, Tina, how about your amazing chapter? Tell us all about it.
Thank you. Yes, my chapter is Go to Bed Like a Goddess, How One Nightly Affirmation Can Spark Gratitude and Change Your Life. And I'm a spiritual life coach and also a yoga teacher. And going through yoga teacher training and the whole yoga experience really changed my life and taught me about self-confidence and how to love myself and embody that. But then I was really challenged in 2017 when I came across a traumatic event in my life, which brought me to a new low, which I had never experienced before, and brought me to a place where I had to revisit that and actually test myself on all the things that I learned and all the things that I thought I gained from getting to know myself on that deeper level. And hey, when you're faced with this disadvantage of getting injured, being traumatized, being in the dark hole, how can I climb myself back out of it? How can I find one thing that I can do that I can share with other people that can make it easier to climb yourself out of that hole, to find things to be grateful for, to find those words of affirmation for yourself. And that's really what my chapter is about. Going through those hells, climbing back out and helping other people find that one simple thing to incorporate into their life so they can find joy or find confidence and just build themselves back up after maybe something that was traumatic, or maybe just going through life how we all are now. I would say COVID is kind of a traumatic event that we're dealing with. So that's the gist of my chapter.
So going to bed like a goddess with an affirmation. I think about this a lot because I love a going to bed practice and a waking up practice. I love the way that you can start your day and finish your day, but that's sort of a never ending loop of goodness when you get into a positive routine like that. Tell me a little bit more about the affirmation at night. Like, are you literally in bed when you're doing it?
Yes. So the purpose of my affirmation is the last thing before you go to bed, before you close your eyes, there's that one moment like, okay, we're going to bed now. Can we take that one moment to have that affirmation? And I'll give you the affirmation in the book, but even no matter what it is, it's that moment of reflection, that moment to pause and say, okay, I'm just taking a moment in my day and going to give myself something, whether it's an affirmation or something, but what are you going to do with that moment? Are you going to look at the good in your day? That's where you have that reflection. Say, okay, here's my affirmation. What did I do good in my day? How can I bring that into my life and start building on that? So it's one little thing that some people don't have any confidence. They don't have anything. They're just, the negative side is overwhelming, and especially when there's so much expectations and social media and family, friends. I hear it so much in my practice that they're worried about what other people are thinking instead of what am I thinking? How do I feel about this? How was my own day? How does my body feel today? Like, what is it? Bringing that reflection back to yourself and having that at the end of the night, I think is really key to seal in your night, going to bed like a goddess, thinking, okay, I did something great for myself. I gave myself that affirmation. I built myself up. I'm going to go to bed and tomorrow's a brand new day. If I went to bed negative, guess what? I set the positive note at the end of the night, and tomorrow will start new, already going to bed like a goddess.
I love it. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Okay, so Tina's talking about going to bed like a goddess, but what does it even mean to be a goddess or a god for that matter? Stacy, I'm starting this one with you. So y'all could go on and on about what this means. So try your best to tell us one way you think about what it means to be a goddess.
For me, being a goddess is just embracing yourself as you are. And I think that this is kind of a cliche. Like, we often say this and we often say that we need to do this, but it's actually quite difficult to do because we often don't put a lot of work into ourselves until later in life, or until something traumatic happens or some kind of adversity happens to us and we realize what's really important. So for me, it's really just embracing who you are in your entirety, and kind of embracing as well the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Like, your person as a whole and all that you are, and learning to love that person and learning to live for that person as well, in your life and in your interaction with others as well, because we're all helpers, right? We all want wellness and we all want to help people get there, but I think we have to get there first, and we have to take a look inward in order to be able to do that.
I
hope
love
that
it. Yes, I love that. I love that answer. I'm writing down the answers that you tell me right now, you guys, because there's a lot of different ways to talk about what this means. So I'm going to assume that as we go on, it's hard to answer the question last, of course, right? So David, you're next for this one. And I'll say, how else can we think about this besides what Stacy said?
One of the things that I have learned in my life is my purpose, which came about as a result of, some of the early things that, the first 40 years or so of my life, I spent a lot of time basically denying myself so that I could show up the way I believed other people wanted me to show up, so that I could live up to the expectations of society and, check all the boxes, fill in all the blanks and supposedly have a happy life. But by the time I was in my 40s, I realized this ain't working. I am not happy. Life basically sucks, is what I was saying. So what did I do wrong? And I think all of us go through this kind of a journey. We start out as happy kids, and then we kind of drop down into this misinformation pit, if you like, and try to be something that we're not, only to discover later on how unhappy we are. So to me, the whole purpose of my life has been to help myself, first of all, understand the truth of who I am, and then to help other people begin to see the importance of that for themselves. And so the answer that I have come up with, a generic answer that I believe is true of all human beings, is I like to say we are all divine, magnificent, unlimited spiritual beings of light and love. And we just happen to be sharing this temporary human experience. And if we can embrace that and understand it, and what we're really saying is we're allowing our natural divinity to show up. We are just allowing our light to shine. And that's really what I think the whole meaning of being a god or a goddess really is all about, is acknowledging the truth of who we really are and why we're here.
I love that. Thank you. This is just going to get better and better. I know it. Okay, Tina, how about you? How else can we think about what this means?
Yes, stepping into goddess for me is really owning your power, owning that self-love, and owning the confidence. Because for me, like doing something like this or taking these big risks on something that I would never do, I'm showing my daughter what to do. I'm showing my daughter that anything is possible by showing her that I can try something new. I can put myself out there. She knows that that's okay. Whether I win or whether I lose, I put myself out there. And I tell her every day, I'm a goddess, you're a goddess. And I constantly affirm with her. So I think stepping into your own power and just owning that and owning your own confidence is really and truly empowering your inner goddess.
Yeah, I'm a full-on yes with that one, with experiences with my daughter. And I want really badly to help my son also.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels harder, right? It just depends on what your kids are doing and going through in their journey. but I think it's important. It's important in all of the different ways for both our young women and our young men to really own the power. And that's hitting me in the heart too. Like, I feel like many of us on this journey it's been a lifelong journey of figuring out how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And where we gave it away along the way.
Yes.
And it's like, whoa, really? Oh, okay. And then when you can
Mhm.
step into it, oh my goodness, your whole life will change, right?
Yes, your light can really shine. It makes a huge difference when you can really own it.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Rosemary, how about you? How else do you think about what it means to be a goddess?
I'm getting excited about this topic and my heart is racing.
It's a good one.
It is. And I'd like to give you two words: perfect blueprint. Everybody has the perfect blueprint of who they are, and how that manifests in physical form, in human form, is always there. People think they've lost something that they have to find, or that they've given up a piece of who they are, and they have not. It is there. They are whole, magnificent beings. You have the perfect blueprint. It shines through when you recognize what David was talking about, your joy. What makes you happy? Does art make you happy? Does science make you happy? When I look back on my life, I was always digging in the dirt. I was always outside. I was catching frogs. I was looking through the microscope. I became a biology teacher. And I carry all of that science and biology with me now into my healing practice as Reiki master and shaman and all of those things that I do, because I remembered my perfect blueprint, and I'm still remembering my perfect blueprint. So everybody has this core foundation, and it begins with a communication between the brain and the heart, because the brain is something that, and I know I've heard David talk about this a lot, the brain is encouraged to be intellectual. We are graded on that. Hey, I was there too as a teacher in public and private schools around the world. I had a red pen. I graded papers. I corrected people. And I interfered with what the heart might have been telling people. Who in class is ever learning about how to meditate? Anybody? Not in public schools, not in private schools usually. So there is that something else that I've talked about in the chapter is the brain and the heart connection in helping you to remember your perfect blueprint.
Yeah, nice. I love that too. Oh my goodness, I love all of your answers. This is why we need all the voices. This is why the collaborative energy of these kinds of projects feels so big. And somebody can hear an idea in 100 different ways. They need the 101th different, way. They need to hear it in the way that they need to hear it. And I love listening to you all talk about this, that we knew that the goddess topic was going to be a juicy one, but this is something I really love to listen to. So David, I'm going to start with you for this next question. I'm coming around to all of you with this one. Practitioners of awareness, which, gods and goddesses are, we practice awareness as a foundation. They learn what feels aligned. And I think being in alignment is part of being a goddess. So for you, David, how do you know something is in alignment for you? How do you practice that?
Well, I believe the word alignment is a variation on the concept of integrity. And to me, integrity is a state of being in which all my thoughts, words, actions, and emotions are all kind of lined up. They're all pointed in the same direction. But you notice I mentioned 4 and there's a 5th one there. That 5th one is purpose. When I have all those 4 things, my thoughts, words, actions, and emotions aligned with my soul's purpose, then really that's when I know I'm in alignment. So for my own personal practice is to check in with myself. First of all, do my thoughts seem to be in alignment? Most of the time we think of integrity as words and actions. You know, when you say what you're going to do and you do what you're going to say, or whatever, you know what I mean. But really, I could be in integrity on an external perspective and still have my thoughts and emotions out of integrity with that. In other words, that's when I know I'm not being true to myself. So it's really important, I think, to check in with all 4 of those concepts and then to make sure you're lined up with your purpose. And if you're not, if any one of those things is out of alignment, now you have a chance to either make a correction or choose something different altogether.
Yeah, nice. I like that explanation. That's big picture alignment for sure. I love thinking about all of those, but you got me thinking about, you could have this going on over here and still not be aligned over here. So it's really, really good to look at all of them.
Right.
Okay, Tina, how do you know something is aligned for you? How do you practice this?
For alignment, I definitely practice meditation for sure. Anytime that I have something on my head or any kind of decision I have to make, I definitely want to get centered, close my eyes, get into a quiet space where I can really listen to my inner voice and listen to my heart. And so when I can listen to my heart and honor what's truly inside, when I'm quietest, when my heart speaks, I feel like I can be in alignment with my actions and with my words.
So the quiet is the necessary environment so that you can hear that voice.
Yes.
Yeah, for a lot of people, I think. And of course, I love it when one of my authors uses the M word, meditation, because some people are like, oh, then do I need to sit on a pillow for an hour in a particular position, chanting? Right. No, like I see
No.
Rosemary. Right. So it can look different for everyone, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I like mindfulness. Best book I ever read on meditation was a book called True Meditation, Adyashanti, you guys know. And he was just saying that when you're doing the dishes, you can be meditating. When you're driving your car, you can be meditating. Like, it's every moment of every day gives you an opportunity to be present.
Absolutely. Every minute you can, or every moment, you're going to stop, close your eyes, take a deep breath.
Yes.
It's
yes.
one moment, you can just change everything.
The breath. Yes. Okay, Rosemary, you're next up on this one. How do you know something is aligned for you? How do you practice that?
Oh, this again is an exciting question for me, because I feel, hear, know, see all kinds of things in my intuitive practice. I have developed a sense of subtlety. I guess the word is subtle, because when a person becomes sensitive to energy, then it doesn't take a hammer over the head to know what's going on. You can feel it in your body. Remember, this is all about embodying sound, embodying that divine influence in nature that we all have. And so picking up on the subtleties, it can be even as simple as eating something and then feeling how it feels in your body. Oh, that I shouldn't be eating that. That doesn't feel good in my body. So that's not in alignment for you. And the opposite is also true. When you hear a truth or you're experiencing something that feels true and in alignment to you, does your body have a goosebump reaction that tells you, yes, that's it, you're right, that's right on, you're in alignment? And so picking up on these subtleties, I think, is something we can all do. We all have that skill. again, quieting the mind, getting into a meditative practice helps you learn how to perceive those goosebump moments.
Yes, I like how you're helping people understand that you can become more and more sensitive to feeling those things.
Right.
In the beginning, I didn't know about it. I didn't know what I didn't know, right? But it's a practice.
It is, and some people are a bit afraid of it. They might say, oh, I'm empathic. I can't go anywhere. I'm too sensitive to other people and their energies. No, learn how to work with that gift that you have.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Okay, Stacy, what would you add to this in terms of your way? How do you know something's aligned for you?
Absolutely. For me, I know that things are aligned when I'm being intentional in my life. So if I'm taking a look at it and reflecting on it, am I kind of just doing things because my emotions are guiding me there, or because of outside influences, or because I'm really stressed, or I'm thinking about a certain thing? Or am I actually observing what's going on with me and being intentional in the things that I do and the things that I say and the things that I want to be putting out there? And with my healing as well, right? Am I doing these things with a purpose, essentially, with intent? All the other things that everybody else said are also true for me. Checking in with myself and meditation and grounding, those are kind of the ways that I achieve that. But ultimately, it comes down to the question of, am I being intentional?
Intention is super important. I know on these questions, it's hard to go last because you basically just want to say everything everyone else said and these other things too. But I love, again, just reminding you all that someone's going to need to hear it in exactly the way you said it today. And it's really, really important that we share all of these ways and all of these voices. And I thank you all for stepping up to tell your stories in this book, but also to move through to really master teachings. These books are huge gifts. And the combination of all of the different things in there is, I just think they're very, very powerful. So I thank you all for saying yes to this. So, okay, so Tina, I'm going to start the next question with you. This is the last one. We're going to go around with this one to everyone. So there are people listening right now, watching right now, and they're just feeling a little less than goddess-like today. And I want to know what you might tell them in terms of just an easy entryway to shifting that kind of energy to something better.
I think that key is really recognizing that anything you want to change in your life is in your power. Whether you want to switch your mindset or make a change in your life. And I think that some people aren't quite recognizing that they have that power within them. And if they want to make the choices, that they're the ones that can do that. And kind of going back to Stacey's point of intention, like, what is your intention with that? Do you want to make the change? Are you sick of being sick and tired of being sick and tired? That same quote. And I think taking that moment to reflect back and say, I'm the one that has the power. What can I do to change today? How can I make that one change? One step, one change right now. And every moment we have a chance to turn it around. And what can I do in this moment?
Yes, I am the one that has that power. That is a good one. That is a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosemary, what would you say to someone listening who just needs a little energy shift?
I would say go outside. Get away from the darn computer and the phone. Go listen to the birds sing. Go feel your feet on the earth. Hear the sound of the waves crashing on the shore or the breeze through the trees. Every sound that comes from nature is aligning to your spirit, to your purpose, to your embodiment. Coral reefs cannot exist without the dolphin song. How do you exist? What's your sound that brings you into pure physical form?
Wait, say that again. Coral reefs cannot exist without
dolphins.
what?
The
Dolphins.
The dolphin song. Yeah. And there are examples of this all throughout nature. I love this combination of science and metaphysics, because when you understand that sound creates matter, then you can go outside and be among those pure sounds, the breeze, the birds, there's something to that we don't get inside. We don't get when we're connected and hooked up in a house that has wires and sleep, do you sleep on springs? Don't do that. So there are all these subtle things that you can have in your environment that if you go outside, you're connecting to nature, and then it's going to be easier to do all of those connections that you're talking about, easier to shift your energy, easier to meditate, easier to have an intention, easier. So we're talking about ease and grace, right? How do you make it easy? Go outside. Simple.
It is a good one. I am a fan of just putting the sun on my face. I had an author in a project write a chapter about earthing, and the title was "Just Take Your Effing Shoes Off." And I just had to chuckle. And so I read that chapter, and after that week, I walked down through my neighborhood. There's a little stream in a wood trail, and I took my shoes off, even though it was a little cold, and I just put my little toes on the sand in the stream, and I thought, yeah, like you can feel the difference when you're connected to the earth and to nature like that.
That's right.
Love that one. Stacy, how about you? How would you help somebody who is just not feeling goddess-like today?
I think I would tell them, just give yourself permission to be here right now. The only way out is through, and you can and will get through it, even if you don't know how you're going to do that yet. That's probably what I would say.
Yeah, I think always in all the instances that giving ourselves permission to just be with whatever is happening, be with whatever the moment, the reality of the moment is, and having that reality be completely, perfectly awesome and okay, right? Well, maybe not awesome all the time, but okay. Yeah, thank you for that. We talk about healing a lot, and we talk about shifting energy and healing techniques and modalities and all of the different ways we do this. And the most important thing, I believe, as somebody who practices what I think is an authentic kind of healing, is not giving myself permission to feel everything, to honor what's there, rather than feel what's there and say that I have to move it away really quick, or shove it, or stuff it, or ignore it, or be some other way. So it's what you're making me think of right now. I think it's important for people to understand that they're okay the way they are. David, you are going to close out this little party tonight. Tell us about what you might suggest for somebody who just not feeling it today, needs a little energy shift.
Well, as I was listening to everyone and listening to you summing it up there at the end, what occurs to me is how we sometimes judge our situations. And it's really the judgments or the self-criticisms, or you talked about a red pen, or maybe it was Rosemary talked about the red pen. The idea that we always look for things that are wrong with our lives. And one thing that I like to do for myself is to just try and accept what is right now, and eliminate the judgments. I'll notice, okay, I've got this judgment about it, but is it really that bad? And the truth is, most of the time it isn't. And I think Tina was talking about the power of choice, how we can choose what options we want to pick and how we want to move forward and stuff. Well, you can't really choose until you know where you are now. You can't choose a new destination until you know where you are. So my recommendation to everybody all the time is just be clear on who you are, how you are, and where you are right now. Then you can decide, am I enjoying this or not? And if you're not, then you can either find a way to enjoy it, or you can choose something new. That's really what I think life is all about. And I hope that after people have heard what we've been talking about throughout this entire process, if you seek within yourself, look for the truth inside, you will find that point of alignment, and that will help guide you to the next step for your life. It's really that simple.
It is simple, not always easy, but I always love to ask myself the question when I feel like something is going to be difficult. What else is possible? You heard me say, and what if this could be easy? Yeah. So, all right, everyone who's listening today, I know something resonated, right? So slide down into these show notes and check out these authors. I have you linked up with their websites and Wellness Universe links down there, and take the next step. Explore. See what they have to offer. I think one of the best things that we do here with the Brave Healer Productions books is we give you the now what after you read, because these authors are so generously there for you, ready for you to connect with them, to answer your questions, and to further the conversation. So move on down there for that. Authors, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
And listeners, you got to remember to join us on our live stream book launch party day. That's going to be December 7th, and that's at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to be gathering with all of our Wellness Universe Guide to Complete Self-Care authors, the tools for goddesses, and that's going to be on Anna Pereira's Circles of Inspiration page on Facebook. We're going to be having some cool giveaways that day. You're not going to want to miss that. And I've got you linked up with that page down below as well. If you're listening after December 7th, well, hop over to Amazon, because that means the book is ready for you to purchase. Cannot wait for you to read these beautiful authors' stories and tools. And maybe you're a wellness practitioner who's ready to share your brave words in one of our upcoming projects. Please find more at bravehealer.com. Lastly, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. Beautiful. It's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.